Hi, guys. Thanks for tuning in today to watch the show. A couple of important stories to share with you. Before I jump into those articles, I want to give you just a quick market update. Again, the stock markets continue to push higher. Dow finished up, at least 100 and something points. NASDAQ finished up 1.2% higher, plus 252 points today. Gold, again, another great day, put on $11 a troy ounce. I saw it sitting as of recording time at $2,756 an ounce. The fact that gold is rallying right now tells us several things, one of which, unfortunately, is that the markets believe that inflation is going to continue to go up. And will have something to do with the new Trump policies, with tariffs. We're going to have to see how this plays out. But my take is that's what is getting priced in to gold right now, because you really don't have a whole lot of geopolitical tensions that are literally at the forefront. You have Trump out and other leaders say they're looking forward to working with him. So this has to be an inflation play from my perspective. Leave your comments below. The 10-year, again, it's cropping back up. It finished up almost 4 basis points today at 4.613. So back in a 4.6 handle. The markets, are not going to like this. So let's see what happens and if they continue to march forward despite the 10-year still sitting uncomfortably high. Couple of quick data points I saw come out of CNBC this morning I think are important to keep an eye on. It's not stuff that we don't all know already, but I wanted to drive the point home. CNBC this morning, a record number of consumers are making minimum credit card payments as delinquencies rise. The share of active credit card holders just making minimum payments rose to 10.75% in the third quarter of 2024, and that's the highest ever in the data going back to 2012. The share of cardholders more than 30 days past due rose to 3.5%, an increase from 3.21% for a gain of more than 10%. And we know people continue to rack up their credit card debt, not paying attention to anything going on around them, getting themselves further in the hole. And look at these delinquencies, these late payments, delinquencies come with a nick or a ding on your credit score, okay? And we all know what that means. When your FICO score is in the tank, you are not credit worthy, all right? And you're making the minimum payments, even if they're not delinquent, that is not a good sign to the credit card companies. That will also ding your credit, and they will not obviously be extending new credit to those cardholders if they're barely just covering the minimum payments. They always say that you should make more, even just a little bit more than the minimum payment on your cards. Even with rising delinquency rates, it's still well below the 6.8% peak, it says, during the 08-09 financial crisis. But we're not in the 08-09 financial crisis, at least not as everyone's announcing right now. We're probably going to be going into something much worse than that in the very near future. But we're being told everything is great, not everything is collapsing. Yet we have credit card delinquencies at their worst since going back to 2012. Next one I saw from CNBC, Jamie Dimon says that the U.S. stock market is, quote, kind of inflated, end quote. JP Morgan Chase CEO Jamie Dimon on Wednesday called the U.S. stock market inflated and said he felt more cautious than others in the business world. He noted the risks from deficit spending, inflation, and geopolitical upheaval. Okay, keyword inflation. All right, so Dimon's out saying the stock markets are frothy. Leave your comments below. You market people, I have a lot of friends of mine, and they think it's not going to stop going up, especially now with the business-friendly climate that Trump will probably bring, to the overall economy. Let me jump into what I think is today's, actually came out last night, a main story. That has to do with massive layoffs at the government level. And I've discussed this often on this show, that there is going to be, and Trump said it during his campaign, that they're going to come in and they're going to take a scalpel to government positions and government jobs. And here we go. Out of Zero Hedge today, all federal DEI offices to be closed by Wednesday. That's today. Workers placed on paid leave per the White House. The Trump administration Office of Personnel Management, OPM, has notified the heads of all federal agencies and departments that diversity, equity, and inclusion, the DEI offices, are to be closed by the end of the day Wednesday, and all staff to be placed on paid leave. According to the notice issued by Acting OPM Director Charles Ezell, all departments and agencies have been given a directive to do the following: send agency-wide notice to employees informing them of the closure and asking the employees if they know of any efforts to disguise these programs by using coded or imprecise language. Number 2, send a notification to all employees of diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility DEIA offices that they are being placed on paid administrative leave effective immediately, as the agency takes steps to close all DEI initiatives, offices, and programs. Number 3, take down all outward-facing media, websites, social media accounts, etc. of DEI offices. Withdraw any final or pending documents, directives, orders, materials, and equity plans issued by the agency in response to the now repealed Executive Order 14035, Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Accessibility in the Federal Workforce, and that was June 25th of 2021. And lastly, cancel any DEIA-related trainings and terminate any DEIA-related contractors. I also read they're going to be prevented from accessing their emails, and that by January 31st, the administration has asked for a game plan relative to either placing them somewhere else or having those turn into permanent layoffs. Okay? The action comes after Trump signed an executive order that eliminates all DEI programs within the federal government and signed another order making it the official policy of the United States government to only recognize 2 genders. And that was confirmed by White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt. So I wanted to find out, because I talk about job loss on this channel all the time, I wanted to find out, how many people is this going to be affecting in the federal government working in the DEI realm. And so I did an AI search this morning, and the answer that ChatGPT came back with is, quote, the exact number of diversity, equity, and inclusion employees in the federal government can be difficult to pinpoint because the roles are distributed across various agencies and departments. However, recent trends indicate that the federal government has been increasingly emphasizing DEI efforts, particularly after the Biden administration's executive order on advancing racial equity and supporting underserved communities. So agencies like the Office of Personnel Management and the Equal Opportunity Commission, EEOC, often lead DEI initiatives, while many other departments, such as the Department of Defense, Department of Education, and Department of Health and Human Services, have DEI officers or staff within their human resources divisions. And I saw an article that came out just this afternoon from BBC, and it did say it is unclear how many people are affected by the order. The American Federation of Government Employees, AFGE, which represents 800,000 federal workers, said on Wednesday. So the head of the AFGE that represents 800,000 federal workers says it's unclear how many people will be affected, meaning how many people within the next 8 days are going to have no job. So what does that mean? What does that mean to those of you that are, I'd love to hear your comments. If you are working in the DEI segment of the federal government as an employee, and do you have a backup plan? Have these people put something in place where they can earn a living and support their family after getting laid off? And this is just the start, folks. We know that there is going to be ongoing effort by this administration, whether you agree with it, disagree with it. It's not the point of me discussing the topic. It's simply going to happen. And it's happening now, immediately unfolding. So guys, we talk about all the time, starting your own businesses, having a backup plan. I'm doing the same thing. I don't know when my phone would just stop ringing with new clients, new referrals, new cases. So I'm also starting a side business. I'll be talking about on a separate series of separate videos on this channel relative to getting into this tax lien acquisition and tax deed acquisition. It's going to feed real well into what I do as a real estate attorney with my knowledge base. And so you look at, I am practicing what I preach. I recently, in the last 60 days, formed a new entity, a limited liability company, and it's a family entity. And I'm going to be transitioning some time and some resources into that as a side gig, okay? And I'm also looking at various other things as well to supplement. I know my practice is busy, but again, I'm not sitting back, resting on my laurels, thinking that phone's going to keep ringing. We don't know where this is going to go in the next, 100 days, 300 days, couple of years. It's probably going to get pretty bad for a lot of people, okay? So please consider starting a business of your own, a side hustle of some point, so you can fortify yourself. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.